Hey everyone! So today I'm going to show how to install the blade and cage on a later model Emerson 77 series, such as the one that you see before you here. Now this fan is a 77646 SL and it was made after 1950. And the way that you can tell a fan made after 1950 is to look at the data plate. Now if you see the little 38 down there in the lower right hand corner, if you add 20 to that number, you get 58, which gives you the year of manufacture. Now the first thing you're going to need to do in order to get into the fan is remove the back cover from it. And the way you're going to do that is to remove the screw that you see right here in the center of the rear bullet. You remove that, that bullet will slide right off, and it will expose the motor housing, and it will show you these motor vents that you see here. These are what I call the pizza shaped motor vents. So what you're going to do is you're going to insert a tool into probably the motor vent on the left. On the left if you were looking to remove your blade, and into the one to the right of the oil tube if you're going to reinstall your blade. So here you can see I've got a tool installed into this fan here to show you how to do this. I'm just using a center punch here that I got off of Amazon. I can provide a link to those in the video description here if that will help you. So what we're going to do now is get started on showing how to do this. Now the first thing you're going to need to do is install the rear cage shell, which you see on here. Now I have it indexed wrong, so you'll have to make sure that when you put it on there, you index it so that the inverted bend is down at the bottom. And that just fastens with some acorn screws that I've got fastened to the front of the motor, which usually should be that way when you're putting the blade on. Anyway, to install the blade, you insert your tool, and then you grab the blade, and you put it onto the nose of the fan, and you start turning it counterclockwise. And what that will do is allow it to catch the threads and thread on. Now, this does take a little bit of knowing how to do, and if you do it wrong initially the first time, the thing you want to make sure is that the blade screws on smoothly and easily. If it screws on with difficulty, that means that you need to remove it because you could be cross-threading the blade, and you do not want to do that. So we're going to put this blade on here, and what we're going to do is get it to click into the threads by turning it clockwise first, like you see here, and then we'll start turning it counterclockwise in order to start threading it on, which you can see that we're doing right now. Now this blade is going on a little bit difficultly, but it's sort of the nature of this fan. The one that you might be working on might be a little bit different. Now what you want to do is spin the blade over after you get it installed, and you can see that this one has a little bit of a bind when you spin it over. So it means that we're going to have to remove the blade, so you turn it clockwise in order to remove it, and it should just come right off, which you see here. And then we're going to get it put on here correctly. We got to put our tool back in here to do this. So we'll get the blade threaded on here again. And once we have it started on there, and we have it started into its threads properly, we'll get it screwed on. You got to make sure you get it threaded down good and snug. There's a leather gasket in the motor that this blade seats up against, so that helps make sure that it doesn't leak oil. And what you want to see is your blade spinning over freely, such as what you see here right before you. So if your blade spins over like this after you install it, it means that you've done everything right and that you are now ready to reinstall the front cage cover. We'll show you this from the front here, and you can see the blade is spinning over nice and smoothly. So what you're going to want the finished fan to look like is the one that's a little bit more to the left there in our frame. And what that will give you, the front cage assembly just snaps into the hooks in the rear cage assembly, and it will give you the end result of a fan looking like this one. Now, before you use the fan, you're going to want to put some oil in the motor, because if the motor does not have oil, it will swiftly wear out. So you'll want to use an oil such as 3-in-1 in the blue can, or Zoom Spout oil, and that should get you all set up and get your fan running. I would advise that you put about 20 drops of oil in it, probably about 8 in the initial oiling, and then another 4 at a time until you get to about a total of 20 drops into the motor. Anyway, hope this helps people out there who have an Emerson that they might have received through eBay or some other vendor, and they need to put it back together. And with that, please hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, because we will have more videos to come. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we will see you later.